edition of the Clement Manyathela show as we reflect on this constitutional court judgment. Mahlengi Bhengu speaks on behalf of the African National Congress and joins us now on the line. Mahlengi, great to chat to you. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Good morning. And good morning to 702 family.
So this judgment from the Constitutional Court is effectively saying you, as the ANC, you were wrong to vote down this report, this independent panel's report in Parliament.
Yes, that essentially is what the judgment is saying. And therefore, it calls on the ANC to go back to that particular conversation and to do a reflection, a self-reflection, because for the ANC, respect for the rule of law is sacrosanct. And that is why we got into the struggle, and that is why we're still in the struggle. Even parties that are impugned by the rule of law, we always urge everyone to ensure that we respect the decisions of the judiciary and the judiciary independence.
Okay, so what do you advise the president to do then as the ANC? Because the Constitutional Court judgment effectively paves the way for an impeachment process to begin in Parliament. As the ANC, do you advise that the president must go through this impeachment process so that at the end of the day we can know whether or not he has committed any misconduct?
I'd suggest, Clement, you yourself being part of leadership of the space that you are in, it's way too early to expect the ANC to pronounce on a matter like that. We need to study the judgment, one. Two, and then we need to offer guidance to the president, who is our deployee. We also need to look at other legal avenues available that may very well be explored by various parties, including parties that are not interested, ANC parties, but South Africans that have come forward and believe that President Cyril Ramaphosa is given the type of leadership that is given to society. But I would say that I think we are really running ahead to expect that the ANC would now have a view just an hour or two after the pronouncement by Concord.
Yeah, but at a broader level, Mahlengi, if the president has got nothing to hide and he's so convinced that he didn't do anything wrong, what is wrong with going through a process that's going to exonerate him?
I haven't said that there's anything wrong with that. I don't want to come across as though we're putting up a defense right now. Clement, if you really listened to what I was saying, I just don't think that it's fair for any media house, and it's the first one, this one, to expect us to say this is what we're going to tell the president. I think, I'm sure you know that as a spokesperson, I can't even make that determination alone. And I think that merits a discussion, a discussion that is backed by facts. And it's as simple as that, really. I don't think the ANC can run away from this issue. But I don't think that right now I should be coming to you to say we're going to tell the president to do the following. I'm sure you know that you wouldn't be expected to do the same if you were in a similar position.
What becomes the next process then? Is the NEC going to meet? Is it the NWC? What leadership structure within the ANC then is going to deal with this matter?
Well, we do have standing structures, as you rightly point out. The officials meet every Monday, and I'm certain that they will have a conversation even before Monday on this particular matter, given the sensitive nature of it. And we should be in a position to communicate to South Africans about our reading of the judgment and our initial reaction to the judgment. Okay. I mean, that's normally just the course of action that you have to follow if you are being responsible in your communication.
All right. Mahlengi Bhengu, let me thank you. I appreciate you making time for us. She's the ANC spokesperson. So the ANC at this point are saying, look, we respect the judiciary, we respect the rule of law, and we need to go and reflect as the ANC because our actions have been found wanting. We voted down an independent panel's report that we shouldn't have voted down because the Constitutional Court has now declared that conduct or that even that decision of the National Assembly invalid and unconstitutional. But he can't say whether the president is going to be advised to go through this process or not. Hence my question. If the president has got nothing to hide, if the president says, actually, if we go through this process will prove that I didn't do anything wrong, then why not go through the process? But that's a grilling process. It's going to require so much from the president. If he was willing to resign back then, why would he be willing to go through this process this time around? What are the political implications if he does resign? 9 minutes before 12.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
7:02. Let's walk the talk.
Solly Msimanga is the DA federal chairperson. I told you the DA has just dropped out a statement saying that they uphold the rule of law as this Phala Phala matter moves to impeachment process. Solly, thank you for making time for us. Good morning.
Clement, good day to you and good day to the listeners. Thank you for having me.
What is your position as the Democratic Alliance? You find yourself in quite an awkward position because you are in the GNU. So part of your decisions will be very thoroughly considered because there will be political ramifications. What's your position on this judgment now? Do you support that the impeachment process must begin against the president?
Well, Clement, I think that is mute now. The judgment or the Chief Justice and the panel has made the way very, very clear in terms of what needs to then be done. And the DA is on record that we are a party of the Constitution, we are a party of the rule of law, and we're not going to be in government for the sake of being in government, even if it means that we are going to be protecting wrongdoing when, there is evidence of it. We are very, very clear that we will participate in the impeachment committee. We will be fair. We will be, guided by the Constitution, and we will also, if there's evidence, action then should be taken because we're all about accountability, we're all about fairness at the end of the day.
So if the impeachment committee continues its work and let's say the president goes through it and there's a question in Parliament, and the committee comes out with a conclusion that, in fact, the president committed serious misconduct here, as the Democratic Alliance, would you be voting for him to be impeached?
Clement, I'm saying we're very clear. The DA is not going to be protecting any wrongdoing because we're not in government just, for our own jackets and then the enjoyment thereof, therefore turning a blind eye when there is wrong. If there's clear evidence of wrongdoing, certainly you can be assured that the DA will act accordingly.
Okay. And if the president resigns, Solly, and this is a possibility because we've been told before when this independent panel was released that is something he was considering. I was told by two of his best friends on the show that he did consider resigning and they advised him against it. As the DA, what position then do you take in the GNU? Would you support like a Paul Mashatile to be the caretaker president until we go through the next elections? Would you put up your own candidate, perhaps in Jordan Hill Lewis, to be the caretaker president?
Well, I think we need to make something very, very clear. We're not in the GNU on the basis of an individual. We are here because South Africa needs rescuing, and this is why we are where we are. And we will then, weigh those options when the time comes. Whether we then remain because whoever then is, coming, or the kind of composition still is in line with what we want to then achieve in being in government, then that's a decision that will be then taken there. Should it be that, the kind of alignment is no longer suitable for the DA to be in government, then certainly we will then assess our options when we get to it. But I can tell you now, and I can guarantee you that our decision to be in the GNU was not solely on the basis of Cyril Ramaphosa being there. It was on the basis of a commitment that was made to the people of South Africa. Got you.
Solly Msimanga, DA Federal Chairperson, thank you so much for making time. The EFF has just written to the Speaker of Parliament here. I've got their letter to the Speaker, and it says that we write to you with reference to the judgment of the Constitutional Court, in terms of which the court ruled that the decision of the National Assembly not to refer the report to the independent panel on whether President Cyril Ramaphosa should be impeached or not to a parliamentary impeachment committee to be invalid. The Constitutional Court specifically ruled that the National Assembly must refer the Section 89 independent panel report to an impeachment committee. We write to you, therefore, to immediately initiate the process to constitute the impeachment committee to give effect to the judgment of the Constitutional Court. Kindly revert to us with timelines in which you will give effect to this judgment of the Apex Court of South Africa. So the Speaker of Parliament now is under extreme pressure.